It's time for the morning update. Governor Dannel Malloy at the podium. Let's listen in.
We're working through all of the issues that lay before us, and we're still estimating, CL&P is that 99% of customers will have their power on Sunday. I'm glad the number of people without power is dropping, as it has for approximately 150,000 people in the last 24 hours, but we need to move faster. I also want to acknowledge that CL&P has now listed estimates for each of their communities. That will be updated on an ongoing basis because it needs to be refined as progress is made. I have discontinued the briefings from the other utility UI in as much as they have connected just about everyone. I think they're down to about 200 households unconnected. They continue to urge, if you happen to be a UI customer and you're out without power, to contact them. It's possible that they're unaware of some outages and aren't carrying them. We continue to work on getting information to municipalities. As indicated, we'll have our noontime call with them. We'll have a 5 o'clock update statewide, followed by a 6 o'clock briefing with all of you. The Lieutenant Governor and I will be traveling around the state today, visiting shelters and meeting with local officials. I'm heading out of here to Danbury and Ridgefield. I think you're going to Suffield, West Hartford, and
Bristol.
And Bristol. And we're going to keep doing that every day until this event is over. I have the unfortunate obligation of reporting another CO death, carbon monoxide. This brings to 3. We now have 6 weather-related confirmations of death. There may be another one that will be added to that column later today. It's unclear of the circumstances, and I'll let you know about that. 135 people have been seen for carbon monoxide poisoning. 19 in 19 different acute facilities. Shelters, over 92 shelters are open across the state. We have supplied you with a map that demonstrates every community that had a overnight shelter or a warming shelter. There were 111 warming centers and charging stations across the state. I want to thank municipal officials for responding to my request that they open those. Roads, we're down to 15 state roads that have closures as a result of debris and wires, and we believe all of those state roads will be taken care of by the end of today. This is down from a peak of 150 total closures and well over 200 partial closures. Danbury rail line is now operational. Waterbury line is operating on bus service today, but is anticipated opening service at 9:15 a.m. Bradley is connected with energy. We had to do a partial runaround. One of the repairs to one wire in failed, but because they were working on dual tracks, they are powered and things move forward. A couple of other things to report. 4.2 million yards of debris is what is estimated needs to be handled in the coming days. I mean, that's a massive amount of debris that we're handling. At my request, CL&P has refined their figures. This storm has impacted 77% of the CL&P service area. So 77% of their customers were impacted at some point during this storm. With that, I'm going to ask CL&P to come up and brief you.
You just have the town on the latest CO fatality.
Do you have the town on the latest CO? I don't have it at the moment.
Bloomfield, I believe.
Bloomfield, thank you. Go ahead.
Thank you, Governor. Let me start by saying I know that 4 days without power can be very challenging, very difficult, very frustrating, and very upsetting. And I also want to assure everyone that last night in discussions with the Governor that we heard his message very loud and clear. And I share the Governor's frustration. As I said last night, we're here to serve power to people, and having the number of customers out of power is frustrating to us, and one we strive to get customers restored as quickly as possible. We continue working around the clock to make safe and restore power as quickly as possible. And we continue to bring in all additional resources to facilitate and expedite restoration. We have made significant progress. We have significant progress to report, as well as updated restoration projections, as the Governor mentioned, for every town in our service territory. Let me begin by updating you on the progress overnight. As of 8 o'clock this morning, We have restored 410,000 customers since the start of the storm, and we had still had remaining 548,000 customers without power. As the governor also mentioned, we do have restoration projections posted on our websites for all of the towns we serve, the 99% projection. But one of the things we'll continue to strive to do is update that information for specific customers as we get work packages together and have crews out working in specific areas, so customers see, we'll start seeing when their service is going to be restored versus when we expect to reach that 99% for their town. We did last night re-energize all of our transmission lines. However, we did have 2 of those lines that were repaired and restored fail after they were re-energized. One of them feeds the airport. We had been working in parallel, bringing back a distribution circuit, so the airport is back 100% on commercial power, and we continue to work on that transmission line for that area so we can continue to bring up the other businesses and residential areas around the airport. And then the second line feeds the Bulls Bridge substation, which is down the Milford area. It was re-energized, and there was a failure there last night. We expect to have both those lines restored today. We currently have 1,041 tree and line crews working today, and just some expectations over the next 12 to 24 hours. As I mentioned last night, we are shifting our focus to restoration, where we can get the largest amount of customers restored as soon as possible. But I also want to assure everybody that we will continue to work with the state and the municipalities to make safe, clear roads, restore the key business districts in those towns hardest impact, and then address critical customer needs. I do expect, and they're not included in the numbers I gave you shortly, or just briefly, we do expect at least an additional 110 line crews to arrive today, and we're assuming those, when they arrive here, they'll be ready to go to work, and we'll put them to work. We do expect over the next 24 hours to restore an additional 125,000 to 150,000 customers as we dispatch additional crews into the restoration effort. But as the governor mentioned, I would like to put this storm into perspective. You know, we talked about Irene being a historic event. This is a magnitude higher than even Irene. CL&P has 1,237,830 customers. Irene, and this is information that I've had updated, total customers impacted, and this doesn't talk about people that were out of power, came back and went. Total customers impacted, individual customers impacted in Irene were 730,000 customers. Roughly 59% of our customers were impacted. Now you look at this event, and once again, you know, the unprecedented snow that we saw this time of year, especially with the amount of foliage, virtually all the damage we have incurred in this snow event is tree-related damage. In this storm, we have over 955,000 customers that were impacted at some point during this event, which is 77% of all our customers. As I said, this event is a magnitude greater than Irene, which we all went through just 2 months ago. We'll continue, as I mentioned, to update our outage restoration information, because I understand both for the towns and that customer, or the customers, they need that information. Preparing town briefing sheets for the town so they understand what we're doing and have that information to share with their citizens. So just like to close that, you know, we understand the frustrations we understand the frustration everybody's feeling, whether that's businesses, the state, the governor, our customers, and our focus is to get our customers restored as quickly as possible, and we will do everything we need to do to bring the resources into this state to support that restoration effort. Thank you.
Are those 110 you're getting today from the United Illuminating Company?
That will be part of those numbers, yes.
Yeah.
I did not, what we have done, the numbers I gave you for the 1,041 crews, those are crews that are on the ground working right now. I did not include anybody that we expect to arrive today, and we'll update those numbers as we go through the day.
Mr. Butler, can you address the fact that some of the line crews haven't been paid yet that have been coming to the state for a hurricane or tropical storm Irene, and is that maybe a reason why they never showed up this time?
I have reviewed everything, and all outstanding invoices I'm aware of have been paid.
Now, you told us last night that one was expected to be paid today,
And
Has-
it
that,
has been.
So you're current on all of those bills as of this morning.
We process our invoices and pay them in a timely manner.
Right. And would you say that the reason that they've only just been paid is because you didn't receive them in a timely manner?
I don't know all the details behind it. We received the invoices, we review them, we went through the details of them, they've been processed, and they've been paid.
Why haven't you received more help from other power companies that haven't been as hard hit, perhaps closer to home, other than UI and a few others?
Well, when you look around our region, many of the utilities are still in their own restoration efforts. So I know looking at our sister companies in Massachusetts and New Hampshire, they still have restoration work underway, and I believe other utilities both in New York and Massachusetts that aren't part of the Northeast Utilities family continue with our restoration efforts. So there is restoration going on, continues to go on throughout the Northeast and New England associated with this snowstorm.
Can you explain why CL&P doesn't have a policy of putting repair crews on some kind of retainer when there's a serious storm coming into the area? I gather CL&P's policy is a little different than other utilities in the region.
I'm not sure what you're referring to. We go through a process that my understanding is other utilities will. Mutual aid, we reach out to bring in additional crews. We did that prior to this storm. We have put, when they're available, we have in the past. We did in Irene, put people, basically hired them before the storm hit.
So you do hire people before the storm hits?
In Irene we did, and we were looking
Sure, for
at
this storm?
securing crews before this storm hit as well.
So you did hire crews before this storm?
But I will assure you, when we had the weather forecast and everything that we looked at in preparation for this storm, the amount of snow, which ended up being the problem, was far more significant than what had been forecast. This event, as it came in Saturday, started earlier and lasted longer with more snow accumulation. And remember, all the trees still have their foliage on it.
So
And
did
the
you
damage
hire,
was-
Did you hire crews before the storm?
I said yes.
You did?
Yes.
Okay, but that's not really true. I mean, we had the governor standing at the LOB on Friday saying there's going to be large-scale power outages.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, and what I did say is that I expected it, and expected that people, if that storm played out the way it was, that people would be without power for a week. So we did say
why
that.
did the power company know that? I mean, the governor knew it.
We did plan for long-term outages. I did not expect it to be anywhere close to where almost 1 million of our discrete customers lost their power. That was, based on all the forecasts I saw and the snow accumulations, I did not expect that. It exceeded anything that we were looking at as a forecast for damage.
But I think all of the forecasters on commercial television were saying this was a potentially catastrophic event.
Well, I think everyone was. I mean, I think that certainly as the storm developed Friday morning, I went, spoke to the public through all of you at the press conference that followed the bond agenda, and we acted on that information. Certainly we were preparing ourselves for that. Listen, there's going to be a lot of time to examine the behavior of organizations that we rely on. The reality is that they're sticking to the Sunday date, which is the date that they've been claiming would be restoration, 99% restoration. I think there was some information by the federal folks that yesterday that may not have been as accurate as it should have been. I think there was a failure on the Fed's part to understand that our biggest problem with downed wires, feeds, was the single feed substations. That has been rectified, 2 failures, but those will be rectified today, and we move forward. So let's get people their power back on. That's our number one target, as well as working with our municipal governments. As I've said, we'll have a 12 o'clock, we'll have a 5 o'clock, we'll be back with you at 6 o'clock. If there's important information to be updated, we will do that. Back to the CO issue, because I'm more concerned about loss of life than anything else, and we're seeing continuing loss of life. Do not bring a grill into your house. If you have any kind of fire going on, and that includes a wood fire, you still need some level of ventilation in your house. Do not run a generator in your house. Do not run your car in your garage. These are all things that are making people sick today, endangering lives today, and that has got to be a big part of our focus. Thank you all very much.